guys? It is I, Otakushinsaku, back again for another video reaction. This one is from Tsiah again, another one of his videos. Uh, I'm gonna have a lot of these videos because you know what? I like watching his videos, and my subscribers like me reacting to his videos. So it's a win-win for everybody all around. Either case, this video caught my attention because it poses a question. Does Nasu have the best female characters in anime? That, that is a hard question, because we're talking all of anime? Talking all of anime. And when you especially when you extend that out to like visual novels and stuff, it's like, like I'm gonna say his female characters are up there, but I'm gonna say like the best, like the absolute best. Like that's kind of hard to say, especially with the fact that uh with such a question, it does raise like other questions, like what do you mean by best female characters? Like how would one denote that? Because it's easy to say that from like a male perspective. It's easy for us, like, heterosexual, because then you get into like heteronormativity and stuff like that, and then you get into like the patriarchy, and so you get into these systems where it's like, okay, like, are you saying that they have the best female characters because they got big boobies, or what? Like, because let's not deny the fact that Nasu does have a lot of misogynistic-esque tendencies to his female characters. Where, you know, like, for example, specifically on the screen, a lot of people like Rin. Not to say, not to go anything, but like Rin does, like, for example, I get it. Shiro is the main character, but again, but why is Shiro the main character? Why isn't Rin the main character? Being the fact that she is the far more confident one, and the one who, in all likelihood, should win the war. Like, honestly, the very fact that she only technically won the Holy Grail War in the Unlimited Blade Routes route, and again, that was a technicality, is complete bullshit because of her obscene levels of skill. Being the fact that she, after that route ends, she goes on to become the personal protege of Zelrich. So, not to put anything against her, she is obscenely talented as a Magus. And yet, when it comes to the Holy Grail War, we can only say she technically won in a single route, and again, on a pure technicality. Being the fact that she was technically the final master left standing at the end of that route, or with the servant. So she didn't win by skill, she won by default and technicality. It's bullshit. Whereas, Shiro pretty much always comes on top in all the routes, and he is far, far less talented during the battle. Because keep in mind, we know what Shiro will eventually become through Archer. But that's after the war. We are specifically talking about high school era Shiro. Specifically high school era Shiro. For example, the only reason why he is such a goddamn badass in Unlimited Blade Works is because he's literally stealing his own magic from his future self. If Archer was not summoned, Shiro would be absolutely effed. Like, completely. Like, because if Archer was not summoned, then Shiro would not get Kanshou and Byakuya, Shiro would not get Unlimited Blade Works, by literally just bleeding that and copying it from his future self. So he would be completely basically useless throughout it, because what we see from Shiro in the beginning of the visual novel is how Shiro would end it, which is, oh look, I can reinforce this, steel beam. Cool. I can't do any actual like cool, cool magecraft like Ren or anyone else, but I can pick up a poster and reinforce it. That's all I can do. The only reason why he can do anything more than that is because he literally steals it from his future self. If his future self was not summoned, he would basically be completely useless throughout the war. And so the very fact that he is the winner of the Holy Grail of the Fifth Holy Grail War is complete bullshit. Being the fact that it should be given to Rin, but again, I get it. Nasu's a guy, and I guarantee Nasu is not the most like. Let's be honest. Let's be honest of the culture that Nasu grows up in. Let's not ignore the Japanese patriarchal society that Nasu grew up in when he, wrote Fate Stay Night and published it in 2004. So we're talking like 2004 era Japan. Not more than likely going out on a limb. Probably not a radical lefty feminist is all I'm saying. Just going on a limb, Nasu was probably not the most radical of feminists of all time, right? Just going out on a limb.
Alright, so apparently this week everybody just decided to jump out the gate and say anything. And I'm here for it. We got a new thread on the female characters of the verse. He says, I challenge you to name a Japanese author that has written better female characters than Nasu. And then of course you can see here that he's made a collage of just some of the examples.
Yeah, keep in mind, I'm just going to go out on a limb. The person asking this question is probably a guy. Because, again, Kanako Nasu is the goat at writing good female characters. All the characters pictured are obscenely hot. Like, all these female characters are obscenely hot. And a bunch of them were written, specifically so that the main character, literally fucks them. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Like, Rin, Sakura, and Saber were literally written for the main character to fuck. So they were literally written with the main objective of being H-novel female protagonists for the player, aka the main character, to fuck. So, no. Here's the thing. Much of a fan of Nasu's writing as I am not going to give him this. Nasu is going to have to take an L on this. His female characters are good for the obscenely low bar of being written by a patriarchal heteronormative man. Let's be honest. Like, they're good if you lower the bar to, like, elementary school standards. Right? But if you're actually saying, like, good female characters in general, good female characters in all of fiction, no. Not even one bit. Not even close. Not even close. Where is a fat girl? Where's a fat, like, where is the actual diversity of femininity? We get none of it. We get literally just all of these, and every single female is designed to be on the lowest end an 8 out of 10 in terms of physical appearance. Like, no, don't even go there with me. Don't even go there with me. there is a lot more disparity and diversity of physical appearance when it comes to male characters in Kanaku Nasu's works than female. All female characters look like this in his universe. Whereas male characters can literally range from looking like Shiro to being literally so buff they look ridiculous like Super Orion, to literally being a stuffed animal in terms of normal Orion. So no, don't even go there with me. Like, don't even go there with me. His female characters are written from the ground up, from a very patriarchal, heteronormative standpoint. So no, don't even go there with me. Like, again, even Mordred, who is specifically written as, like, you know, the worst thing you could do to her is call her a girl or call her a woman, and yet out of her armor she still looks like a 9 out of 10 supermodel. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?
To name a few, Kinako Nasu is the GOAT at writing good female characters. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure you guys sign up for the Patreon. You get access to early content and priority on your request. To start things off, this is an interesting topic because we usually highlight the females on the channel exclusively, but it's rare for us to do it all together. And when you look across the map, I'm not gonna lie, he might be on to something.
Let's see what Tsiah says, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say again. I haven't seen this video first. I'm watching it, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say Tsiah does not bring up any like feminist talking points or any like feminist literature or, you know, anything like that. Like, he's gonna strictly speak on this from a very patriarchal, heteronormative lens. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that that's exactly what he's gonna do, and through that lens, he's gonna say this. He's gonna say the conventional bullshit, which is sexy woman, sexy girl, cute girl equals good girl, good female character. Like, the hotter a woman is in a piece of fiction, the better of a woman, female, like the better of a female character that she is. You know, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Tsiah is gonna come out, you know, and be like, you know, is gonna come out with the same sort of lens that one would use to say, like, like, you know, oh, Rin is a good female character because she hot. No, let's not beat around the bush on that one. Versus another female character who is badly written because she not hot. Let's be honest.
He might be cooking. Now, at face value, it sounds insane. It's like, whoa, wait, there's so many different creators to go through. How could you possibly say that? But when you think about just how many female characters he has, then it starts to make a lot of.
Are you really gonna do this to me, Tsiah? Are you really gonna pull out the you're really gonna equate quantity to quality? You're really gonna say that because he has a high quantity of female characters, that makes the individual female characters better because of the pure quantity? Are you really gonna say that? Really gonna say that? You really gonna pull this bullshit with me? Are you really gonna pull this bullshit with me? Please, Tsiah, do not be this stupid. Do not be this stupid.
A sense. And of course, he means this collectively, as in all the females, not just a couple here and there. So for the first comment, I mean, it also helps that 80% of the more important characters in each Nasu work are female.
I'm gonna go through this and I'm gonna completely debunk this. This is bullshit. It also helps that like 80% of the more important characters in each Nasu work are female. First and foremost, just because a female character is important to the plot does not a good female character that make. Being important to the plot does not make you a good character. That is not the definition of a good character or even a greatly written character. A good or greatly written character is a character with depth, with, you know, that a character that has more, you know, that you sink your teeth into. A character that has layers to them. A good character is like an onion. A good character has layers and layers to them that you can peel away. Them being important to the plot is not even close to being the most important thing to making a good character. The female characters in each Nasu arc drive the plot. Again, being important to the plot does not make you a good character. They are the center of the plot. Being important to the plot does not make you a good character. And without them, the plot just wouldn't work. Who gives, for this argument of are they good characters or not, who gives a fuck? Hell, in Tsukihime, almost every character is female. Okay, that's literally the quantity equals quality argument. It is literally, because there is a high quantity, that means the quality is also high. No. It's only Shiki himself and the villains that are male. Okay, this person doesn't know how to argue. This person literally doesn't know how to argue. This person is literally using quantity equals quality, and that plot importance equals great character. Okay, what about the individual characters? What about the individual characters? What are their personalities? What are their drives? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? What is about them individually, beyond the plot, that makes them a good character? Because you're talking about the generalized question of best female characters in all of anime. Meaning, this is beyond just Fate. You're now asking the direct question: does Nasu have the best female characters in all of anime ever released? Period. Ever since the dawn of anime to today, he has the best female characters, and I would say he's got good female characters. Not the best though. From a pure when you start applying qualifiers when you start looking at them through a feminist lens, and a patriarchal lens and stuff like that, and you start really peeling away these characters start to really show their faults, and the fact that you can clearly tell, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they were written by a heterosexual patriarchal type man. Right? These were not characters written by the God Emperor of feminism. Right? This is, no.
Female characters in each Nasu work drive the plot, are the center of the plot, and without them, the plot just wouldn't work. Hell, even in Tsukihime, almost every character is female. It's only Shiki himself and the villains, Roa, Nero, Vlav, and Cap Shiki, that are male. And I guess Arahiko too. But Arahiko is also a relatively minor character. Spot on. And this is what I mean. Not only are there so many female characters to go through in the Nasuverse, but they're literally everywhere. So if you were to compare it to the average series, which let's say the cast has about 20 characters, and it may
again, he's literally doing the quantity equals quality argument. Because guess what? An anime series could literally have one female character. A single one. And in terms of quality, that female character obviously can be better in terms of quality than the quantity of female characters in Fate or in all of Nasu's works. Quantity does not equal quality. I cannot believe this has to be said. I could give you 100 rotten apples versus one pristine apple. in terms of quality, which apples are better? The quantity of 100 rotten apples or the one pristine apple? Like, it should be obvious. Like, like, 100 McDonald's burgers does not equal the same quality as a burger made by a 5-star chef. Like, I cannot believe that this has to be said and repeated time and time again, that quantity does not equal quality.
They have 5 good females, and those 5 females could have been superb, but even then there's just not enough people to even put up the argument. Unless
Yes, you can put up the... Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, in this hypothetical anime series, you only have one female character. So that one female character is a far better written female character. Which is the question being posed.
unless you want to glaze super hard and say one of their females is equal to 5 of Nasu's characters.
Yes! That's what quality means. Like, that's what quality means. For example, if you're in a race, right? For example, if you're in a competition, right? If you're in a competition and you come first out of 100 people, you, by the rules of competition, you are better than the other 100 or 99, right? That is, how are these concepts hard to grasp?
Which, let's be real. Meanwhile, I can think of 20 good Nasu females off the top of my head and going.
Congratulations! Quality does not equal quantity. Congratulations! Stop being a fucking idiot!
Going back into the same point that this guy was making, if it wasn't enough that Nasu makes really good OC females to begin with, you
heavy disagreement on that one. Like, heavy disagreement on that one.
got the gender bends. So a lot of
Which is, like, oh, he brought that up. All right. The gender bends are complete sexist, all right? The gender bends are complete sexist because it is to say that women can only be good if they literally take over the shoes of a man. Right? Like, oh, women can't be naturally good at, like, swordsmen. They literally have to be a gender-bent version of a male character. Right? The fact that Tsiah is not smart enough to pick up on how gender-bent characters are literally a sexist, misogynistic stereotype. I'm like, you know, at a certain point, you got to give up on a motherfucker. At a certain point, when someone is dying of thirst, right? When someone is in the desert and they are dying of thirst, and you lead them to water and they don't drink, at a certain point, you just got to be like, you just got to give up on a motherfucker, right? Because the fact is, Tsiah, again, we're going through all these videos, I'm reacting to his videos. He has this entire library, this entire catalog of videos showing that he's not dumb. And so, and he's willing to put in the work and effort to research various subjects that he cares about. But this is clearly not one that he cares about. This is clearly him doing the stereotypical heteronormative man thing of thinking with his penis first and not his actual brain. Because again, the whole gender bent concept in Nasu has always infuriated me because of the fact that it is to say that women can only be excellent if they are literally men with tits. Right? Like, that's it. A woman cannot be great on her own. She literally needs to completely subsume a man. Like, a woman cannot be a naturally good swordsman or swordsperson on their own. They need to literally be like a very famous male warrior, but with tits. Like, it is ridiculous. To me, what would help Nasu is if he were to stop the gender bent bullshit. And act like if he were to stop the gender bent bullshit. Because, for example, if Nasu had a hard line where he did not allow himself nor anyone who created any work in his universe, at least officially on a canon level, to gender bend, that would force them to either look into history and find actual famous women, and display them and make them more prominent, or make female OCs to be servants, instead of just going, oh, this is a really important historical male swordsman, but when you summon them through the Grail, they're summoned as a woman who lived the exact same life, but nobody brought up the fact that they were a woman, conveniently. And they were still recorded as male, conveniently. They even went by the same exact name, right? They literally didn't even change the name. Like, it is complete bullshit that for Nasu to say that, for example, King Arthur was still born with the name, like, but he was born Artoria. But King Arthur still ruled as a king and not a queen? Why? Why? And of course, Nasu's tried time and time again to explain why Artoria ruled as a king rather than a queen, which all of it falls on its face when Nasu has to bear the brunt of looking at actual Britain and look at the fact that Britain and one of their most beloved rulers of all time was a queen. I mean, did Nasu never go to Great Britain or even look at videos from Great Britain during the reign of the previous queen? To say she was beloved by her people is a vast understatement. And she didn't rule as a king, she ruled as a queen. She ruled as a queen and was beloved for that fact. God save the queen, the whole thing, right? So there was absolute no reason, none whatsoever, that Artoria could not have ruled as a queen. Other than Nasu being a little homophobic, because again, going back to Fate Prototype, we were going to get a male King Arthur, but conveniently, his master was going to be female. And King Arthur was going to fall in love with his master. But of course, he rewrote that and decided to make the main character male. And of course, since Nasu didn't want a little bit of the gays in there, he had to make King Arthur female. Like, he was forced to make King Arthur female because if King Arthur was still male, summoned by Shiro, and he still wanted to have that romance plot, that'll be a little bit gay. We can't have that. We can have everything else in Fate Stay Night, but we can't have the main character be gay. I mean, well, that's fucking gay. Fuck, that's fucking gay.
The characters that weren't supposed to be females are female too, and a lot of them are good. Stay Night.
they're good, but again, they're good for a sexist, misogynistic stereotype that should not exist in Type Moon, and in my opinion, is a stain on Nasu's writing.
Is a harem. Tsukihime is a harem. FGO is the ultimate of.
Yeah. Also, by the way, harems are also complete sexist, misogynistic bullshit. So no. Again, this entire video. I'm gonna stop pausing. I'm gonna stop pausing this entire because I'm just gonna cringe this. I'm just gonna cringe through this as we just get blasted with Tsiah going on and on with how idiotic he is and how he's basically just completely, at this point, he's just completely celebrating heteronormativity and patriarchy. He's just going to be, this is an entire video celebrating heteronormative patriarchy. Let's just grit our teeth and get through it.
Harems, you can't get away from them. Tiamat, Draco, Ibuki, Da Vinci. I mean, if we just use LB6 alone, nearly everybody on that lineup is a good character. Morgan, Castoria, Barges, Sith, Melusine. Just LB6 alone might crush the cast of most animes right off the bat. Just right off the bat, that's one chapter out of FGO, and there's still a plethora to go through. If you want to be real, if we're going character for character, there's only a certain number of series that even has the roster to even be taken into consideration. One off the top of my head, maybe Gundam. I haven't seen every Gundam, but I know there's a lot of installments. But it has to be something of that.
Oh, look at that! The only series he can think of is another series that is primarily advertised and marketed to a teenage male demographic. Ugh. He can't think of any series at all that has a better female roster that is primarily marketed at women.
Caliber to even match the numbers. Here's another one. I don't know if he's the GOAT for that, but his female cast is always well written, interesting, and well developed. And he even gave justice to some cliche girls and gave them good character. So yeah, he is one of my favorite writers for his characters. Even characters that I'm not a fan of are well written. And that says a lot. And that really, to me, speaks a lot to how good the character is. It's impressive to give credit to a character that you like, but everybody expects that, right? There's no surprise there. If you like them, you're gonna give them more favor. But it's far more impressive to give credit to somebody that you despise. And even in hindsight,
again, look at what the woman on the left is wearing. She's Oh, God. My IQ level is dropping hard right now just listening to this.
if you take a step back, you still have to say, wow, I may not agree with that character, but I'd be lying if I said they didn't do a really good job with them. That's just what being someone memorable is. If we were to just take the collage by example, you know, when I see Ilya, I think about how by design she's a homunculus. That alone makes her very different from most females in any anime. And
How? It actually makes her worse because it means that she's literally like, because when they say sexualized object or objectifying a female, like Nasu is literally doing that. Like he is literally making a woman literally an object. Not to say that I don't like. I hate doing this. Like I hope you guys understand. I get no pleasure at all doing this, but it's not fate I'm cringing at because I accept fate for what it is, flaws and all. And clearly, I wouldn't be a Fate fan and a Fate stan if I didn't accept it, flaws and all. But I'm cringing at the, let's be honest, second grade at best, second grade elementary school style arguments being used here to denote best female characters. Like, where is the research? Where is the studies? Where is, where is, at what point in this video is this guy going to bring up, oh my god. Yeah, Arceus, I will join you after I'm done recording this reaction, but I'm just where is Tsiah going to bring up anything better than just these, just bridging it through
So the feminine aspect, in a way, is suppressed. And I know that's supposed to be one of the most important elements, but it works for Ilya because it lets her dial in on a lot more serious aspects, like the Grail War and her connection to it, or the bad ends and her relationship between her, Shiro, and her father. I still find that presentation to be really impressive because a lot of people don't come out the bag the way that she did. She was truly transparent that she was pissed off about that. Normally you might see somebody scream, "I hate you," and just run into the other room, but in the scenes that she's involved in, she really gives the whole thing. When you think about people like Ren, the situation that happened with her parents from the time that she was a child, knowing what happened to her sister, and
Okay, just gonna let you guys know. For at this point, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna give this guy his due, but I've given my piece. And you're just gonna sit back, and basically the rest of this reaction is just gonna be my facial expressions of just how defeated I am with this.
not being able to do anything about it, getting raised by her father's assailant, being an overseer to all of this land, being a prospect to one of the greatest figures in the series. Sakura, same thing. I told you guys before, I can't stand the trope of Sakura's character. The damsel in distress, the woe was me girl. I usually turn my nose to that character, and I still love Sakura because in my eyes she makes that position so much more, and it never feels like it's only that, especially considering Heaven's Feel when she finally gets her turn at the wheel and everything starts to come to the surface. The complexities of mixing in Angra and Zoken and completely turning the story on its head. How many females do you see have their emotions manifest as a conceptual being and that be a driving factor to the entire story? Not many. And I'm just being brief, this is only 9 characters, there's so many more to go through. Archwade and her being a protector of the entire planet, an extension of the planet itself, a progenitor to the race of vampires. Saber, how many females do you get to see play the role of being a ruler and forfeit their soul in the afterlife just to make good on their...
How many? Is he really asking that question? Is he really asking that question after we just got done with, just England, literally just England, going through, what was it, like 80 years of their queen? Like, wasn't, or maybe not 80 years, but like at least a good multiple decades of being ruled by a singular queen. No king by her side. Literally just the queen. Not just a queen, the queen. The queen that even multiple American presidents bowed to when they visited England. So the quote-unquote leader of the free world bowed in respect to the female ruler of England, of the UK. And he just said, well, how many women get to play? Is this bitch really saying that there hasn't been any famous queens throughout history? Oh my god.
Their past, introducing the dynamic of being an alter. Ryogi, I just did a whole video about her and the internal strife that she has to go through on an existential level. Not only does that concept not get addressed often, but it never gets addressed out of order the way that hers was. It's usually in the seat of a male, and this doesn't even include her having all the power in her hands with the mystic eyes of death. I'm not even through these all the way, and just these characters alone would give people trouble. I've seen a nice chunk of anime, and while I do like certain female characters here and there from different casts, it's still not enough. Honestly, Nasu's works might be the biggest proof that you can add in fan service in your works and still write good female characters. And going back to the original novels, for all the jokes that people made about it being an eroge, one thing that you usually never heard people say is that they were bad characters. You may hear it's an eroge, it's too wordy, it doesn't focus on certain characters enough, but what you usually don't hear is the character themselves being bad at their core. You think about Hollow Ataraxia, Karin, great character, Bazette. Honestly, the more that I look at this post, it's not even fair to compare Nasu's females to theirs because he actually wrote them out. Right? Remember, this is a novel writer, so you're comparing females that more than likely don't have much to them to begin with. They may be decent, but even if they were good, they would only be so good because they might just lack the depth behind them that Nasu was able to give in his stories, and they're being adapted from mangas where it's a lot of show don't tell. That can only go so far, and then the audience decides the rest. As a matter of fact, if we just take Stay Night alone, there's not a single female character I don't like, which is insane. Now, there are some that I like less than others, but just don't like them at all. I just despise seeing them? Not really, but as you can see, that's why I enjoy the series so much. Akiha from Tsukihime, and her having this split side and these things that she has to deal with that are right under her nose, and she can't do anything about it but just live with it. That dealing with Hisui and Kohaku, or Shiki, her being a mixed blood, CL. Come on, man. How many female characters are comparing to CL, where they're a part of this faction that's one of the most interesting parts of the story? And she's not just ahead in the faction, she's not just there to count numbers, but she really matters. She really hunts down some of the greatest enemies that they've had to deal with on record. That's coupled with her having a great background as being one of Roa's bodies, that's coupled with the trauma that she had to deal with along with the church, and then in addition, the relationship that she has with the main character where she shows off and influences him as well. And then Toko. I don't think I've seen anybody say anything bad about Toko, and I generally don't see that for the Aozaki sisters, period. Somebody who was supposed to have it made snatched right out of her hands at the last minute, and she still found a way to make it to the top. Still ended up being one of the best mages on paper in the verse. That's insane. And this is typical for Nasu's characters. This isn't even a marvel. You just get used to seeing good female characters. At this point, I would be more surprised if I didn't see it. Then I'd be shocked. If I were to take just this collage alone, this smashes the cast of most series. Not even being biased. This doesn't have Sion. It doesn't have Alko. Are you kidding me? Doesn't have Ayaka and Monica. Every female is good. Doesn't have Luvia, Alice. These are good characters. They really have no idea. From the outside looking in, you might think this statement is insane, but for the people that know, I'm just saying, you got a lot to deal with. I already said LB6 would clap alone. Just think if we added everybody else. Here's another one. I like Umi Neko's female cast more, maybe Nisio, but I need to read more of his works to be sure. That's another thing. The only people that would really even be able to dive into that discussion would also have to be a huge fan of both, whatever author they decide to put against him, and also read majority of Nasu's work, which is a lot of content. You can't just only watch Fate Stay Night and say that he doesn't make the cut. Taiga's not on here. Taiga doesn't even do anything and she's a great character. On top of them already being good characters, from a background's perspective, they hold a lot of weight in terms of power and influence in the story. They're not just there to sit on the wall and wait for somebody to save them majority of the time. Sakura is maybe one of the only ones, and that's on purpose. And then even that gets rectified when you see renditions like Extra and you see BB going in with concepts like the Sakura 5. Here's another one. A lot of them. Nasu writes some great female characters, but he himself has stated that a lot of his female characters, while physically strong, end up relying on weaker male characters when dealing with emotions and bad mental states. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's on the man to be the champion for the female anyway. That's the way that it's supposed to be.
Right there. Right there. Right there. Tsiah just basically came right out and stated that he is on the conservative end of this argument. That Tsiah, in terms of gender politics, gender and sexual politics, is not a leftist. He is not a leftist. Fuck, he's not even a liberal. He is a full-on traditional conservative. Right? I guarantee that if you were to ask Tsiah, like, he fully believes in the nuclear family bullshit. Like, oh, right there, he just slipped the mask right off, and he is no different than, like, Matt Walsh, or, Ted Cruz, or, Bill O'Reilly, or any of these other, conservatives. Like, in terms of gender politics and sexual politics, Tsiah would be not at all out of place on a, round table of Fox News hosts. Like, this, this hurts me so much. This hurts me so much to hear this from Tsiah, a guy that I really like in terms of his content. This hurts me so much. This hurts so much.
So I'm not looking down on a female for going back into her natural state.
Natural state. Again, the equating of socialized femininity with, like, the literal DNA of a woman. Oh no. What is this? Oh no. I'm watching, like, a video from, like, The Blaze, or fucking, or fucking, like, Ben Shapiro or something. No. This guy is this close to stating that a woman by her base DNA is the most comfortable in the kitchen making the man a sandwich. Oh my God.
I'm just saying that it's a beauty to see females be more than just cosmetic. But you're not finna sit here and tell me.
Oh my God. This guy, again, he is this close. He is this close. He's this close. This close to stating that that the kitchen is the woman's place while she's barefoot and pregnant. Oh my God.
That these casts are comparing to Nasu if they're sitting around not doing anything, and they're great characters because they finally decided to stand up for themselves. Oh boy, you have a lot to learn, because Nasu's characters are doing all of that and then some. You see what I mean? I don't recall what interview that's from, but you have a lot of times where it's in the reverse, where the female is coming to save the male. He has a very high preference for female characters to begin with. Here's another one. Why is Alko not on the grid probably his best written female character? Yeah, Alko not being on the grid is insane, but let's be honest, it had to be somebody. But she doesn't have to be on the grid. Everybody knows that seeing her character, that she's a good character. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. I haven't completed many of these series, but in my head I'm thinking maybe Oda would have the cast to combat it. JoJo, it has to be something that's ongoing with a lot of powerful female leads, and a lot of shows don't have that. Here's another one. Too many females in the Nasuverse, but there are authors with better females. I never denied that. Nasu only beats them because he has too many. Okay, this is the biggest level of cope that I've ever seen, but I don't disagree with him. He's right, and I said that earlier. There are probably better females, but there's not enough. You can't get mad at Nasu because he's put out more content. He's just put in that work. Now you're trying to use it against him because he has a lot of females? Just hand my boy his crown and be done with it. Frankly, I don't even like most of Nasu's girls, though some like Shiki stand out among the shaft. I think what people like less is the way that Nasu story tells. So when he starts talking about a particular person, that's usually the male, everybody else starts to get pushed to the side in his older content. But when the female is in the seat, like Alco or Shiki, as he just mentioned, you can't say it's not good. Here's another one. Other than Artoria, I feel that these are great characters who happen to be female. Okay, first of all, don't ever disrespect Artoria like that in your life. You will get suplexed. Peachman Drake 954. I will take you to Suplex City.
Okay, bet. Tsiah, you know I'm reacting to your videos. There's no way that if you search your own content in YouTube that you don't know that I'm reacting to your content. Bet. Come on. Debate me. Come on. Don't just say that in a video and then walk away. Bet. Come to the mat. Bring it on, because I'm willing to go there. I'm willing to go there that Artoria, for as great as she is, yet no. Because again, Artoria should be a queen, not a king. Artoria should be her own character, fully separate from King Arthur. Artoria should have been written to be her own character rather than King Arthur, but with boobs and a vagina. And then, of course, the whole bullshit of, well, Mordred is still a thing because of the fact that Merlin, during the specific night that happened, gave Artoria, a penis, made her a fuda. Okay. Well, why does Artoria still need to be the father? Why couldn't Artoria be the mother? Right? Why couldn't Artoria be a queen instead of a king? Why couldn't Artoria be the mother of Mordred rather than the father? Like, why? So, Tsiah, you made this entire video, this 17, nearly 18-minute long video. I hope you're willing to back it up with more than just a single video. Because I'm here. We're living in it's the year 2024. It's not as if it's impossible to contact me. I can easily set this up. Name the time and place. Boy. Because this video, because in my opinion, this video should be deleted. Like, this video, Tsiah, is a stain on your reputation. Delete this video. It is a stain on your reputation, and it makes you look completely ridiculous and borderline stupid. Like, I'm gonna like, oof. I am this close to using the R slur. I am this close to go on and just because dude, get rid of this video. It is a stain on you as an intellectual. Get rid of this. It's ridiculous. This is not. None of these arguments are great. Clearly you're just spit cuffing from the top of your head. You put no effort or no thought into actually doing like any research into feminist theories or any sort of theories like that. At no point have you done any sort of like college level thesis work on this or anything like that. You put in no effort at all. I can easily go on YouTube, the same site you upload this video to, and find hundreds of thousands of hours of feminist video essay content, breaking down a good female character in movies or television or whatever. but you put in no effort at all for this video. You're just spitting off the cuff, and you're letting your emotions overrule you, and you're not actually putting in actual logical arguments, right? Because my question to you, Tsiah, if you're listening, would any of these arguments you bring up stand up at all in an actual professional debate with a feminist critic? Right? Do you honestly think, using your arguments you placed here in this video, that you could win an objective debate at a college, at a university? Do you really do you honestly think that the arguments you present here in this video you can wholeheartedly use to win a university level debate? Like, do you honestly think you could go in to the speech and debate tournaments at like Harvard and use the arguments that you put forth here? Do you honestly think you can do that? Honestly, speak honestly, bro.
If you disrespect Saber like that again, I just want to get that out the way first, which is the right way to do it in general. But I'm not sure if it really pushes the envelope in writing female characters where their identity as female is relevant to the story. I will give him that. And that's what I love the most. I hate to say it, but his female characters isn't so in tune with them being female. It's just being a good character. And I feel like that's okay. Now, I'm sure there's other people that can write better feminine characters by far that play that role, but I find that in most cases, that's still being hard to surmount just being a good character in general, regardless of the sex. You could change the sex and they'd still be great characters. Here's another one. It's not hard to list other series with great female characters, but agreed that Nasu has written some real legendary ones. And that's the thing, you're arguing two different points. He's just saying he's the GOAT, mainly because there's so many to go against. And again, even on a quality level, if you were to throw another Arthur into the ring that had way less characters, you would have to say each one of his females, the best ones, are worth at least 5 to 10 of his characters, because that's just how many you're going against. And his characters are quality too. It's not as if they lack quality because he has more of them. He's just been in the game for a long time. Apart from Ren, Akiha, and CL, all of them are mid as far as character themselves go. Also, for a Japanese work with better written female characters, there are many. Again, that's not the argument. It's not if there's better females, that part is obvious. Can they match him? Is the question. And if they can't, then what are we talking about? Velvet Crow from Tales of Berseria, Violet from Violet Evergarden, Makoto from Ghost in the Shell. A lot of characters from the Monogatari series. Okay, you name 3 people. You name one person from each cast. That's the exact point that he's making, and you missed it. Now, I haven't seen the Monogatari series. I still want to watch that, but I'm pretty sure that is a heavy cast. And in the thread, you do have a lot of Arthurs that people are recommending. You guys can throw yours in as well. The Arthur of Re:Zero, the Arthur of Full Metal Alchemist. Love that series. I wouldn't argue there. Somebody threw in Narita, and considering what he's doing with Strange Fate, the proof speaks for itself. Somebody else threw in the Arthur of Violet Evergarden. There's a lot of people to consider. Can they step into the ring with the champ? I don't know, man. If you were to ask the same question about males, it would probably be a completely different conversation. But he does his women more than fair. You might try to change the narrative to, oh, well, they're not good female characters because they're female. They're just good characters that happen to be women. But you can't hold that against them because, one, that's never what he tried to prioritize, and 2, it's easy to say that when most of these characters that will combat him are probably gonna come from series where there isn't much going on anyway. So it's like, yeah, of course you would say that because she has nothing else to deal with but being female, while his characters again have to deal with that and more. All right, so
Okay. 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 Yeah, no. No. What the Why is... Yeah, where's my camera? Why is my camera off? Oh. Okay, yeah, no, no. Clearly, as you guys saw from my chat, my other buddies want to play some games with me, so I'm gonna go do that. Uh, yeah, which is great because it gives me a chance to just calm down from this intellectual beating. And I'm not saying like beating as in he won. I'm saying beating as in I feel like I was just beaten up with a stupid stick. And when you guys are saying like that I'm not acting professional from eating a carrot and all this stuff, it's like, here's the thing. From everything that I just went through with reacting to this video, I don't feel like being professional because being professional is giving Tsiah far more respect than I believe he deserves right now. Wow, wow. Obviously, all I can say is, I'm Otakushinsaku. I hopefully will see you guys back again. If I didn't piss you guys off with my takes on this, but I can't help it. I have to be honest. You're watching me react to these videos. I have to be honest. Just the nature of the format. I have to be honest. And honestly, I did not like that video. Not one bit. Wow. So I'll see you guys next time when I'm back again. Bye.